English Leap Podcast.
With your favorite teacher.
Hello, everyone, and a huge welcome back to your favorite teacher's English Leap podcast. This is your go-to space for mastering natural English while we chat about the big and small things in life. I'm Anna, and I'm joined by Jake.
Okay, quick question before we dive deep and get our whys today.
Oh no, that usually means trouble. I'm ready, though.
It does. All right, everyone listening, imagine this. You are standing in your room. You've got your coffee, you've got your pens. You look at your desk and you say very seriously, "Okay, Jake, today is the day. No excuses. You will study. You will focus. You will become a total English grammar ninja."
A grammar ninja? I like the sound of that. It sounds very stealthy and powerful.
Right. But here's the problem. I was actually saying that to my desk out loud, and I didn't realize I had an audience until I heard someone laughing behind me.
Oh, wow. That was me, wasn't it? I caught you giving a full motivational speech to a piece of wooden furniture.
You did. It was a bit embarrassing, but hey, honestly, I think a lot of people do that. We have these big, dramatic moments where we decide we are going to be perfect students.
You are so right. And actually, Jake, talking to yourself or your desk is not a bad thing at all. It's actually a sign that you are trying to find a way to practice when you're alone. But there's a trap there, isn't there?
Oh, there is a huge trap. It's the what now trap. I tell the desk I'm a ninja. I sit down, I look at my notebook, and then nothing. 10 minutes later, I'm just staring at the wall, thinking about what I want for lunch. My heart is serious, but my plan is just soft. It's messy.
Soft and messy. That's a great one. And that is exactly why so many people feel stuck. They think they are bad at languages or that they are lazy, but the truth is much simpler. You aren't lazy, you just don't have a system yet.
A system. See, that sounds like a lot of work. When I hear system, I think of big machines and complicated rules.
Think of it differently. Think of English like a little plant in a cup on your windowsill.
Okay, I'm imagining a little green plant. It looks a bit thirsty.
Right. Now, if you ignore that plant for 2 weeks and then suddenly realize, oh no, my plant, and you pour a whole gallon of water on it at once, what happens?
Well, the plant probably drowns or it just gets very confused.
Exactly. It dies. Your English is exactly like that plant. It doesn't need a huge ocean of water once a month. It doesn't need a grammar ninja explosion every 3 weeks. It needs a small, tiny drink every single day.
A small drink every day? That sounds much more sustainable.
Ooh, there's our first big word for today, sustainable. When something is sustainable, it means you can keep doing it for a long time without burning out or getting too tired.
Sustainable. I like that. So instead of a 2-hour ninja session that I hate, I should do something that I can actually finish.
Precisely. That is the secret to studying alone. You have to be your own teacher and your own student. And the first thing a good teacher does is create a plan that is intentional.
Intentional. That's another good one. It means doing something on purpose, right?
Yes, not by accident, not just because a YouTube video popped up on your screen and you thought, I guess I'll watch this. Being intentional means saying, today I am doing this specific thing for this specific reason.
Okay, so if I want to be intentional and sustainable, how do I actually start? Because my brain still wants to go back to staring at the wall.
I love that. Well, we use the Lego house method.
Legos? Now you're talking my language.
Think about it. You don't build a giant Lego castle by throwing all the bricks on the floor at once. You put one block down, then another. We do this with 2 levels, a weekly goal and a daily micro goal.
Micro goal, so something really, really small.
Exactly. Let's say your weekly goal is, by Sunday, I want to be able to tell a 2-minute story about my weekend in English.
2 minutes? That feels a bit scary, Anna.
It feels scary if you try to do it all at once, but your daily micro goal is just, today I will speak for 60 seconds about what I ate for breakfast.
Oh, wow. I can definitely talk about eggs and coffee for 60 seconds.
See? That's the drink of water for your plant. It's intentional because it leads to your big goal, and it's sustainable because it only takes 1 minute. When you do that first small thing, you get the ball rolling.
Get the ball rolling. I've heard that one. It means to start something so it's easier to continue, like pushing a ball down a hill.
Exactly. The hardest part is always the first push. Once the ball is moving, you don't need to be a ninja, you just need to keep walking beside it.
I love that. So I'm ditching the title of ninja and I'm becoming a consistent gardener instead.
A gardener of English. I love it. But Jake, there is another problem. What happens when you are ready to study, you have your tiny goal, but you can't find your notebook, or your headphones are lost?
That happens all the time. I spend 10 minutes looking for a pen and then I just give up and go on Instagram.
Right, and that brings us to a very important rule for solo learners. Out of sight, out of mind.
Out of sight, out of mind. If I don't see it, I forget about it.
Exactly. If your English books are hidden under a pile of laundry or inside a drawer, your brain will forget that you are a student. To study alone successfully, you have to make English visible.
So I should put my notebook right on top of my laptop, or maybe tape a word to my mirror?
Yes, exactly. Put a few phrases on your bathroom mirror. Put your English book on the kitchen table where you drink your morning tea. When English is in your sight, it stays in your mind.
You know, that makes so much sense. It's like setting a trap for myself. A good trap.
A fluency trap. I like that. So we have our intentional plan, we have our sustainable micro goals, and we are making sure English is visible. That is the first part of our machine, the plan engine.
The plan engine. I feel more ready already. But Anna, even with a plan, sometimes I start listening to something and my brain just goes away. It wanders off to think about groceries or movies.
Oh, we call that drifting off, and it is the biggest enemy of the solo learner. But don't worry, because in the next part, we are going to talk about the input engine, how to listen and read without your brain running away from you.
I'm ready. Let's keep this ball rolling.
All right, Jake, so we've got our plan engine running. We're being intentional and we've made English visible in our homes. Now it's time for the fuel. Part 2, the input engine.
The fuel. I like that. So this is the part where I actually start listening and reading, right? But honestly, Anna, this is where I usually fail. I find a podcast, I press play, and for the first 2 minutes, I'm doing great. Then, well, my brain just leaves the building.
You just described exactly what we call drifting off. It's like your mind slowly stands up, walks out of the room, and starts thinking about what you need to buy at the supermarket.
Exactly. I'm still hearing the words, but I'm not really hearing them, you know? It's just noise. And then I feel guilty because I spent 30 minutes listening, but I learned 0 new things.
Well, first of all, stop the guilt. Drifting off isn't a sign that you are a bad learner. It's a sign that the input is either too hard, too boring, or too long. Your brain is a very efficient machine. If it feels overwhelmed, it just turns off to save energy.
Overwhelmed. Yeah, that's the word. Sometimes I try to listen to the news in English, and there are so many big words that I just feel like I'm drowning in a sea of sounds.
That is exactly the problem. Many learners think that if they listen to the hardest thing possible, they will learn faster. But it's actually the opposite. To improve rapidly alone, you need gentle immersion.
Gentle immersion. That sounds like a nice warm bath for my brain.
It kind of is. You want to find what I call the Goldilocks level. You know the story of Goldilocks and the 3 bears?
Oh, right, the porridge. Not too hot, not too cold. It has to be just right.
Exactly. For your English input, you want material that isn't too easy because then you get bored, and isn't too hard because then you drift off. You want it to be just right. That means you understand about 80% of it, but there are a few new words or phrases to keep you reaching higher.
80%? Wow, I've been trying to listen to things where I only understand like 20%. No wonder I was drifting off.
Right. When you understand 80%, your brain can use the context to guess the meaning of the new parts. That's how real learning happens. It's much more sustainable.
Okay, so Goldilocks level, got it. But even if I find the right level, how do I stop my mind from wandering to my grocery list?
We use a tiny feedback loop. Instead of just letting the audio play for 20 minutes while you do nothing, try the pause and steal method.
Pause and steal? Am I becoming an English thief now?
A very clever one. Here's how it works. Listen to just one short minute of audio, then pause it. Try to repeat the last sentence you heard out loud. Not perfectly, just try to copy the rhythm. Then look for one shiny word, a word you like the sound of, and steal it by writing it down.
Oh, so I'm not just a passive listener. I'm like a hunter looking for specific things.
Exactly. When you are hunting for a sentence to repeat or a word to steal, your brain can't drift off. It has to stay in the room because it has a job to do. 10 minutes of active hunting is worth way more than an hour of drifting off in the background.
That makes so much sense. It takes the pressure off, too. I don't have to understand the whole hour. I just need to steal 3 good things.
Right, and it's the same for reading. So many solo learners think they have to read Hamlet or a huge business book to be serious. They read one page, get a headache, and the book goes back under the bed.
Guilty. I have a very thick book about history sitting in my drawer right now. I've read exactly 4 sentences.
Ditch it, Jake.
Ditch it? Just thrown away?
Yes, ditch the idea that study has to be heavy and serious to count. If that book is making you feel like you're on a plateau, it's not helping you.
A plateau. That's that flat feeling, right? Like I'm walking and walking, but I'm not getting any higher?
Yes, and often we stay on a plateau because we're trying to do things that are too heavy for our current level. Instead of that history book, find a short story, a blog post about something you love, or even just a dialogue from a learner's book.
So small bites, small tasty bites of English.
Exactly, and use the 3-step reading loop. Step 1, read just to get the general idea. Don't look at a dictionary, just enjoy the story. Step 2, find 3 sentence shells.
Sentence shells, like a seashell?
Sort of. A sentence shell is a group of words that stay together, like to be honest, or the main reason is, or I was wondering if. These are the tools that help you build your own sentences later.
Oh, so I'm not just learning the word reason, I'm learning the whole shell, the main reason is. That sounds way easier than trying to remember grammar rules.
It really is. And then step 3, use one of those shells to say something about your own life. If you learn the main reason is, you might say, the main reason I'm learning English is to travel. Now that input is starting to turn into output.
I love this. It feels like I'm finally in control of what's going into my head. It's intentional, it's Goldilocks level, and I'm stealing things I actually want to use.
That is the input engine at its best. It's gentle, but it's very powerful. But there is one more thing, Jake. Even if you have the best input in the world, you still have to open your mouth.
Ah, the scary part. Speaking when there's no one there to listen.
It's not scary, I promise. It's actually where the real magic happens. In the next part, we're going to talk about the output engine, and I'm going to show you how a 60-second recording on your phone can change everything.
60 seconds? I think I can handle that. Let's do it.
So, Jake, we touched on it briefly, but let's really crack open the secret to reading alone without wanting to take a nap after 5 minutes.
Yes, please, because honestly, my current reading strategy is open a book, find a word I don't know, look it up in the dictionary, find another word I don't know, look that up, and by the time I finish the paragraph, I've forgotten what the story was even about.
Oh, I call that the dictionary death spiral. It is the fastest way to kill your motivation. You're being a researcher, not a reader. And for our solo system to be sustainable, we need you to actually enjoy the process.
It definitely doesn't feel sustainable when it takes me an hour to read 3 pages. It feels like a chore, like I'm doing my taxes or something.
Exactly. So let's talk about the 3-step reading loop. This is how we make reading intentional. Step 1 is what I call the vibe check.
The vibe check? That sounds like something a teenager would say.
Well, it works. When you start a new text, maybe it's a short article about space or a blog post about cooking, your only job for the first 5 minutes is to read for the vibe. Do not touch your dictionary. Do not stop. Just let your eyes move over the words and try to get the movie playing in your head.
But what if I hit a big scary word like phenomenon or procrastination?
Just wave at it and keep going. Imagine that word is just a blurry spot in a photo. You can still see the rest of the picture, right? If you understand the vibe of the sentence, your brain is already doing the work. This keeps you in the flow and stops you from drifting off.
Okay, so I'm just cruising. I'm a vibe reader. I can do that. But then what? I can't just ignore every new word forever, can I?
That's where step 2 comes in, the shell hunt. This is my favorite part. Instead of looking for individual lonely words, I want you to look for sentence shells.
Sentence shells. You mentioned those earlier, like the little houses for sentences?
Precisely. Think of a shell as a pre-made piece of a sentence that you can just pick up and use. Most learners try to build sentences word by word, like trying to build a house by making your own bricks. It's exhausting.
It really is. I'm always thinking, okay, I need a subject, then a verb, then a preposition, and by the time I've built the sentence, the conversation has moved on to a completely different topic.
Right, but if you use a shell, the work is already done. For example, instead of just learning the word opinion, look for the shell if you ask me. Or instead of just busy, look for I've been swamped with.
Oh, wow. So if I have the shell I've been swamped with, I can just plug in whatever I want? Like I've been swamped with work or I've been swamped with emails.
Yes, you aren't thinking about grammar because the shell is already grammatically perfect. You're just plugging and playing. When you read, your goal is to find 3 shells that you think sound cool or useful.
Okay. So I find these shells, I write them down in my notebook. Now they're just sitting there on my desk. How do I actually get them into my brain?
That brings us to step 3, the personalization tweak. This is the bridge between reading and speaking. Take one of those shells, let's use your favorite, I've been swamped with, and immediately say 3 things about your own life using it.
Okay, let me try. I've been swamped with laundry lately. I've been swamped with new English words today. And I've been swamped with hunger because I skipped breakfast.
Perfect. You see what happened there? You didn't just read a word. You took a tool and you used it to build something real. Now, when you actually talk to someone or when you talk to yourself, that shell is sitting right there in the front of your mind, ready to go.
It feels much more active. It's like I'm not just a student, I'm an apprentice using the tools the master left behind.
Exactly. And remember, Jake, it's better to learn 3 shells deeply than to read 20 pages and remember nothing. That is how you avoid the plateau. You are building a library of things you can actually say, not just things you can recognize.
I'm starting to see how this all fits together. The plan engine makes me intentional, the input engine gives me the Goldilocks material, and the reading loop lets me steal the best parts to use for myself.
You've got it. You're becoming a master of solo study. But there's one big thing missing. We've talked about what goes into your head. Now we have to talk about the output engine.
The part where I have to speak alone without feeling like a crazy person?
Yes, we're going to talk about why talking to your cat or your coffee machine is actually a professional training technique. And I'm going to teach you the most powerful solo tool I know, the 60-second recording.
I'm nervous, but I'm ready. Let's do it.
You should be excited, not nervous, because once you master the output engine, you'll never feel like you need a partner to improve ever again. Let's move to part 4.
All right, Jake. We've arrived at the part that most people find the most challenging, but also the most rewarding. Welcome to part 4, the output engine.
The output engine. This is where the English finally comes out of my mouth, right? But Anna, I have to be honest, whenever I try to speak English alone, I feel a little bit crazy. If my neighbors heard me talking to my toaster in English, they'd think I'd finally lost it.
Oh, I totally get that. Everyone feels a bit silly at first. But here's the thing, Jake. Your brain doesn't know the difference between talking to a person and talking to a toaster. To your brain, output is output. Your mouth is moving, your vocal cords are vibrating, and you are building the physical muscle memory of the language.
Muscle memory? So it's like going to the gym for my tongue?
Exactly. Think of it like a professional athlete. A basketball player doesn't only play in big games with a crowd, right? They spend hours alone in a gym, shooting the ball over and over again. They are talking to the hoop. That's exactly what you are doing when you practice alone. You are training the muscles of your fluency so that when a real person finally shows up, you're ready.
Okay, that makes me feel a bit better. I'm not crazy. I'm just an English athlete in training. So how do I actually start? Do I just start reading the dictionary out loud?
Oh, please don't. We want to keep this intentional and real. The first and easiest way to get the ball rolling is through narrative self-talk.
Narrative self-talk. Does that mean I just describe what I'm doing?
Yes, think of yourself as the narrator of your own life movie. While you are in the kitchen, instead of just thinking, I need tea, say it out loud in English. Okay, now I am boiling the water. I'm going to choose the green tea today because I need a little energy boost. Where did I put the sugar? Ah, there it is.
I am putting the bread in the toaster. I hope I don't burn it today because I'm a terrible cook. Like that?
Perfect. It sounds simple, but you are practicing the present continuous, the future tense, and everyday vocabulary without any pressure. There is no one there to judge you if you make a mistake. You can just play with the sounds.
It actually feels kind of fun when you put it that way. But what if I want to do something a bit more structured?
Then you use the 3-question routine. This is a fantastic way to practice your tenses every single day. You ask yourself, what did I do yesterday? What am I doing today? And what will I do tomorrow?
Oh, so I'm practicing the past, the present, and the future all in one go.
Exactly. If you can answer those 3 questions comfortably, you can survive about 80% of any casual conversation. It's a sustainable micro goal. You can do it while you're in the shower or walking to the bus. No one even has to see your lips moving.
I could just pretend I'm singing a song. Yesterday I went to the store, oh yeah.
Whatever works, Jake. But now I want to give you the ultimate tool. This is the heavy lifting part of the output engine. It's called the 60-second recording.
Recording myself? Oh no. I hate the sound of my own voice. Even in my native language, I think I sound like a cartoon character.
Everyone does. That's a universal human experience. But listen, this is the most powerful way to break through a plateau. Here's the system. Grab your phone, open the voice memo app, set a timer for 60 seconds.
Only 1 minute? I think I can survive 1 minute.
Just 1 minute. Pick a topic. Maybe it's a sentence shell you learned earlier, or maybe you just talk about a movie you saw. Press record and talk until the timer dings. Don't stop, don't correct yourself, just let the English flow out.
Okay, and then I just delete it immediately so no one ever hears it.
Not yet. You have to listen to it once. But, and this is very important, you are not listening to judge yourself. You are listening to tweak.
Tweak. We talked about that word, a small change to make it better.
Exactly. When you listen, don't think, I sound terrible. Instead, look for one tiny thing. Maybe you noticed you said, I go instead of I went. Or maybe there's a word you struggled to pronounce. Choose just one thing to tweak for tomorrow.
So I'm like my own coach. I'm looking at the game tape to see how I can play better next time.
Precisely. Over time, those 60-second recordings become proof of your progress. If you listen to a recording from 3 months ago, you'll be amazed at how much your confidence has grown. The plateau won't feel so flat anymore because you can actually hear yourself climbing.
You know, Anna, this makes the whole idea of studying alone feel a lot less lonely. It's like I'm building a relationship with my own voice.
That's a beautiful way to put it. You are your best partner. You're always available, you never get bored of your own stories, and you're free.
Free is definitely my favorite price. So we've got the plan, the input, and the output. I feel like my English machine is finally starting to hum.
It really is. But there's one final piece to the puzzle. What happens when life gets messy? What happens when you have a bad week and you feel like quitting?
Yeah, that's the scary part. I don't want to ditch the whole system just because I had one busy Tuesday.
And you won't have to. In our final part, we're going to talk about how to tweak and ditch your way to long-term success. And we've got a very special 7-day challenge to get everyone listening started.
A challenge. I'm ready. Let's bring this home, Anna.
Let's do it. On to part 5.
We have made it, Jake. We've built the engine, we've found the fuel, and we've even started the motor. But before we finish today, we have to talk about the most important part of being a solo learner, the long game.
The long game, right, because it's one thing to be excited on a Monday morning when you've just listened to a great podcast, but it's a completely different thing on a rainy Wednesday when you're tired and English feels like a mountain you just can't climb.
Exactly, and that is where most people quit. They think if they aren't perfect, they're failing. But in the English Leap system, there is no such thing as failing. There is only tweaking and ditching.
I love those words. They sound so much more forgiving than failing.
They are. Think about it this way. At the end of every week, you should look back at your English journey like a mechanic looking at a car. You ask yourself, what worked? What felt too heavy? If you plan to study for an hour every night, but you only did it once because you were exhausted, don't get angry at yourself. Just tweak the plan.
So instead of saying I'm lazy, I just say, evening study isn't working for me. Let me tweak it and try 10 minutes in the morning while I wait for the bus.
Precisely. You are adjusting the machine to fit your real life. And sometimes you have to be even more radical. Sometimes you have to ditch things.
Ditch them, like throwing them right in the trash?
Yes, ditch the guilt. Ditch that boring textbook that makes you want to cry. Ditch the idea that you have to understand every single word to be smart. If an idea or a tool is making you feel stuck on a plateau, it doesn't belong in your system. Throw it out and make room for something that actually works.
You know, that feels so liberating. I've been carrying around so much study guilt for years. It's like I'm finally allowed to just enjoy the process.
You are, because here is the big truth, Jake. Rome was not built in a day.
Ah, a classic. I love that idiom. It's a great reminder that big, beautiful things take time and patience.
It really is. You cannot build a city in 24 hours, and you cannot build fluency in 1 week. But you can lay one brick every day. And if you keep laying those bricks, eventually you have a palace.
A palace where everyone speaks perfect English.
Yeah, exactly. And even on those days when you are so busy you feel like you have no time at all, you can always squeeze in a tiny bit of English.
Squeeze in, like finding a tiny space in a crowded suitcase.
Yes, squeeze in a 3-minute podcast while you brush your teeth. Squeeze in one sentence shell while you wait for the elevator. These tiny moments keep the ball rolling. They keep the connection alive so you don't have to start from zero the next day.
I think I'm starting to see that consistency is the real magic. It's not about being a ninja, it's about being someone who just doesn't stop.
That is the best definition of a successful learner I've ever heard. Now, before we say goodbye, let's do a quick word tour of everything we've learned today. I'll say the word or phrase, and you tell me what it means to you. Ready?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
First one, intentional.
Doing things on purpose. No more random clicking. I choose my goal before I start.
Perfect. Second, sustainable.
Something I can keep doing forever. Small drinks for the plant, not a flood once a month.
You've got it. Third, plateau.
That flat feeling where I don't feel like I'm improving, but now I know it just means I need a small tweak, not that I'm broken.
Exactly. Fourth, tweak and ditch.
My favorite, change the small things to make them better and throw away the things that make me feel bad or bored.
Fifth, out of sight, out of mind.
If I don't see my English book, I'll forget it exists. Keep it on the desk. Keep the phrases on the mirror.
Sixth, drift off.
To when my brain goes on vacation while I'm listening. To stop it, I need the Goldilocks level and a job to do, like hunting for words.
Seventh, sentence shells.
The pre-made houses. To be honest, the main reason is I use these so I don't have to build every sentence from scratch.
Eighth, squeeze in.
Finding those tiny 5-minute gaps in my day to keep the English fire burning.
Ninth, get the ball rolling.
Just start. Do the first 60 seconds and the rest becomes easier.
And finally, Rome was not built in a day.
Patience, Anna, patience. I'm building my English palace brick by brick, and I'm going to enjoy every single one of them.
Oh, Jake, I'm so proud of you, and I'm proud of everyone listening. So, to finish today, we have a very special homework and practice segment for you.
Oh, wow. Real homework? Don't worry, everyone. It's the fun kind.
It really is. We call it the 7-Day Solo Boost. Here's your challenge for the next week. Every day for the next 7 days, you are going to record yourself on your phone for exactly 60 seconds.
Just 1 minute. You can do that while your coffee is brewing or while you're waiting for the shower to get warm.
Exactly. Use the 3-question routine. What did I do yesterday? What am I doing today? And what will I do tomorrow? Speak into your phone, don't worry about being perfect, and then listen to it just once. Find one tiny thing to tweak for the next day.
And on day 7, listen to your first recording from day 1. I bet you'll be shocked at how much more confident you sound.
It's true. And once you finish your 7 days, come back to this video and leave a comment. Write, I finished the 7-Day Solo Boost, and tell us one thing you noticed about your voice. We want to celebrate with you.
I'll be in the comments cheering you on, too. This has been such a great episode, Anna. I feel like I have a real roadmap now.
Me too, Jake. Remember, you don't need a partner, you don't need a perfect classroom, and you definitely don't need to be a ninja. You just need your system.
Plan, input, output, and a little bit of heart.
Exactly. Well, that's all for today's English Leap podcast. Thank you so much for joining us in our cozy corner of the internet. If this episode helped you, please hit that like button and subscribe so you never miss a chat with us.
And share it with a friend who's also studying alone. It's always better when we grow together.
Until next time, keep your English in sight, keep your goals intentional, and remember,
Rome was not built in a day.
bye everyone.
Bye.